I have a confession. And I'll confess when there's a little bit more people joining this live. I hope it's possible to hear this all right. My confession is really when I live an unhealthy life, because I speak about health all the time, but I have a confession. I also live super unhealthy sometimes, and I thought it would be more authentic sharing that I for sure do unhealthy things. So I used to be super addicted to Coca-Cola, for one. But when I started researching what was in Coca-Cola, they actually have a fetus from a baby, a cell from a baby fetus is put inside Coca-Cola. This sounds insane, right? But it's not only Coca-Cola, it's Nestle, it's everything else. So they put enzymes into your food. So processed food, they have a fetus and they take some cells from that. That's the equivalent of tongue cells that makes you taste sweet things. And they created a whole company around this, and they put it inside Coca-Cola. So this enzyme tells your brain that whatever you're having is very, very sweet. And I try to avoid that. That's why I don't drink Coca-Cola anymore. And I mean, I really try to. And if you drink a Coca-Cola Zero or Diet Coke, it's even worse. What's in Diet Coke is aspartame. And aspartame is this horrible chemical that used to be on the list of chemical weapons. And they found out when they treated it and when they were working with it, that when they put their fingers in their mouth, it tasted very sweet. So by accident, they found out that aspartame is super sweet. But its latest research kind of reveals it can be very cancerous. So Diet Coke and Coke Zero and Zero products that has aspartame in it has some possible carcinogen effects on your body, meaning it creates cancer in your body. So that's another reason why I don't drink Coca-Cola anymore. But I actually live fairly healthy, but I have to admit that I eat unhealthy foods as well. So I have a tendency, even with Coca-Cola, I had like 2 days ago, I was like my blood sugar was going up and down all day because I started my day all wrong. I'm going to tell you how you can start your day better by actually sharing what I do. So if the first thing you get every day could be what I start my morning with is lemon water. So I squeeze a lemon in water and I drink that. This helps my blood sugar not to spike as much, and the acid in my stomach helps break down food even better. Some people put some vinegar, apple cider vinegar, inside that glass of water as well. If you're really, have a hard time drinking sour things, you can put a little bit of organic or raw honey inside that glass and then stir it. But that's how I start my day, and that's the healthiest thing I can do. But when I don't do that, also one other thing is that I eat fats. Every morning I eat avocado or meat fat, or could even be extra virgin olive oil. I literally just drink a shot of that. So it's also something that I recommend people doing, starting your day with fats, water, of course, and protein. So that, to me, that's eggs, organic eggs, which I get proteins and fats in that as well, but I add avocado to it. So when I actually get all these things in my stomach, I tend to not spike my blood sugar later. So the problem is when you start mixing things, carbohydrates, it could be anything. Most people don't know this, but whatever you eat, when you eat anything that is made of corn, wheat, fruit, whatever, it breaks down in your stomach as sugar. So if you don't want sugar in your life, you should stay away from grains and bread and corn and even oats. People think like, oh, oats are so healthy, but it spikes your blood sugar, meaning you tell your insulin to just go ahead and break down all sugars. This means you get a little bit tired later, like in 20 minutes, 30 minutes time, you get a little bit tired because your blood sugar spikes and insulin levels spikes. And then when you crash again, because now it's all the sugars are away, you start getting tired. And I don't like that. So what happens when I eat oats or I eat other grains or other bread, or even start my day like that with fruits or something like that, then I tend to be super hungry later in the day. And tomorrow, around the same time, I will be super hungry for something sweet. Even after I've eaten a full meal, I feel like having something sweet. And this means my blood sugar spikes, and that I now start burning sugars instead of burning the fat I just ate. So that's why I try not to mix those two. But here it comes, the confession. I do actually eat super unhealthy sometimes. I have like a fetish. I want to call it a fetish. I think it's very typical ADHD people. But sometimes I find something I am craving and I just want to eat it almost all the time. Recently, the last 6 months, that has been cinnamon buns. It's literally, we do like a Danish thing in Denmark. We do Danish. That's why it's called Danish. It's something we invented. So Danish pastry, I tend to have a really huge longing for cinnamon buns. It's almost like you see a Danish, it's like the bread does this, and between it is like sugar and cinnamon. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but there's a supermarket called Netto, and they have those. And I have such a hard time. I want to share this so you don't feel alone. I have such a hard time just passing them and not buying them. And if I do, and when I do, because it does happen, when I pass them without buying one single one of them, I praise myself. I am like a superhero this day. If I pass them in the supermarket and I don't buy any of them, I'm like, well done, buddy. That's fucking awesome. That is awesome, because I have such a hunger for them. And there's one other thing. I used to have it with Ferrero Rocher, the chocolate, the balls, but since I can't have nuts, it was always like I eat it and then I get pain from the allergy in my stomach or in my throat, or scratchy eyes or runny nose, or like I would cough the next morning a lot. So, I mean, my poison has now become mint chocolates. And what the hell is the name of that mint chocolate? I don't even remember it right now. Phaser mint. That's a poison to me. I am thinking of Phaser mint like pretty much some days if I had Phaser mint yesterday or the day before that, I will be thinking of Phaser mint today. So let me teach you why. Because when your blood sugar spikes like that and you want chocolate or whatever, I think chocolate is a beautiful poison to have. It's so beneficial. It has magnesium. It has sometimes I think even zinc, but I'm not sure. So let's just say for sure it has magnesium. So I sometimes long for chocolate when my body needs magnesium, because that's the only place you can get it. But since I have nickel allergy, and then for you guys out there who have nickel allergy, you can have food nickel allergy or like skin nickel allergy. It means you get rashes from wearing something like a cheap watch that has a lot of nickel in it. But if you eat nickel products, which is nuts, chocolate, root, like potatoes, that's not, if they're not really prepared, like French fries, things that has high nickel in it. You can go on ChatGPT and get it to list all the things that has high nickel, or even ask, because a lot of people, hang on, right, just have to go straight ahead. Some things have high nickel in it, and so I react to that by getting rashes or psoriasis. So if you have psoriasis, maybe want to look into nickel allergy and see what kind of foods have nickel allergy. This can literally, you not eating those foods can literally lower so much of your allergies from nickel. And the thing is, I can eat something with nickel in. I even have some clients that, if you want that as well, you can comment coaching down below, and I'll send you my best links to either book me for a session. I have the lowest rate session right now. It's $33 around that, and it's only going to get higher. But I recently had a client come to me, and we did a health assessment where we go through, there's 2 types of coaching. I do clairvoyance reading, which I use my intuition to figure out how you can live a better life. But I also use my intuition to guide people in. I have a lot of knowledge about health through many years of experience, and I guide people through health. And he had nickel allergy, and the thing was, when he would eat, like, let's say chocolate, dark chocolate, the darker it is, the more nickel, because the coca bean has nickel. A lot of beans have nickel in it, actually. So he would eat something, and then a week after eating it, he would react. Can you imagine how insane it will make yourself figuring out, why do I suddenly get allergies? I ate chocolate a week ago, so it can't be that, right? That's the logic of it. But when the chocolate sits in your gut, in your intestines, in your bowels, and pieces of that start reacting, and maybe you have IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, or something like that. So your skin will react, dryness, eyes scratching, nose running, things like that. It could also be pollen allergy. Of course, some of those are also pollen allergy symptoms. But he would eat something and then react a week later. And maybe you are like that too. So when I recommend a diet to people, it's for 3 weeks at least, because we have to go past that and we have to lower the things you're allergic to. I am allergic to chocolate, but it's my poison. I crave chocolate sometimes. It's super frustrating because I want to live the healthier version of me. That's why I teach people to live a healthier version. And the reason why I'm scratching my head right now is because 2 days ago I ate Ferrero Rocher, and so I get like psoriasis type of things in my hair. So yeah, chocolate can do that to you. And even potato, beetroot, what else, like nuts, I told you already. Tomato to me is a catalyst. So if I have any type of allergies and I eat tomatoes or mushrooms, it's gonna make whatever allergy I have even worse. Especially for me, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people have in their gut fungus living in there called candida. Candida fungus is a huge issue for so many people because it creates like scratchy feet, fungus around your little toe or between your toes. It creates scratchy eyes, scratchy private parts, things like that. So candida is really creating a lot of havoc in a lot of people's bodies. And so I recommend people also do these anti-candida. And you know what candida and cancer really love? Sugars. Not only sugars, because I just told you in the beginning of this live that wheat and corn and grains, all these things create sugar in your body. So when that's broken down in your body, it creates glycogen and glucose. Those two are just sugar. So it means your body is burning sugar. So if you crave those things, crave bread or something, you need to take like a week without bread at all. I would recommend a lifestyle without bread. And if you have to eat bread now and then, at least go with sourdough, because it gives you a lot of enzymes, a lot of healthy bacteria for your gut. But you could also eat probiotics, which are super cheap to buy. I have a probiotic I showed in another live that has like 100 billion strains of bacteria. So when people are afraid of bacteria, then they probably have more health issues. If you're a person that uses a lot of alcohol in your hands and you're a total COVID freak and you don't like to touch things because you have OCD or whatever, you probably have a much more sensitive skin, body, emotional balance, all these things, because you're not getting bacteria from anything. And most people don't know bacteria is your immune system. It creates a lot of good bacteria in your gut, and those bacteria creates resistance towards viruses, other bacteria. It builds up your stamina to become a healthier person. So really important to get your bacteria. I don't mean like go lick everything, but naturally, like putting your feet or your hands in dirt and working in a garden or whatever will actually give you some really beneficial bacteria. I do think washing groceries when you especially organic ones, but even more non-organic ones, because they have Roundup, which is called glyphosate, on them. So when you eat them, it hurts your good bacteria in the stomach. and creates havoc. Oh no, I'm driving past Netto. I'm gonna show you. This is the place, if I can turn this around, this is the place I'm driving by right now that has those cinnamon buns. Oh my God, that's, just driving by it now, I am thinking of cinnamon buns. That's how bad it is. So that's why I wanna tell you guys, I live unhealthy now and then too. It hurts my immune system. It ruins my gut. It creates more fungi in my stomach, which is like the candida. It's not only in my stomach, it's everywhere in my body. It makes when my immune system is lowered, it makes the parasites live even better lives in my stomach. And when I eat bread, I spike my insulin, I spike my blood sugar. It creates emotionally imbalance in me. So it's not a small thing to when you do that. And when you think of this, every time you eat something like grains, bread, sugar, candy, all these things, it creates a havoc in your body. It lowers your immune system because your immune system is now fighting to keep you healthy. And when it does that, you now will have emotional issues, body issues, like maybe you feel more uncomfortable. Things like that can really create a havoc in your body. And so that's why I avoid it. For me, it's like a punishment. I love eating it, but I will be punished later. Of course, one thing that's very important as well is your mental balance. If you have mental balance, yeah, I just have to go straight. If you have, that's why I started this live. I know I just have to go straight most of the time. So when you when you have those foods and you have emotional imbalance, you will also get mental imbalance, and you'll also do more stupid things. You probably know this. If you're ever hungover, were you eating healthy foods when you woke up after having a hangover? Probably not, yeah? You probably will be eating a lot of crappy processed foods and tell yourself, but I just feel so bad, I can't be bothered to live healthy today. That's what it does. Alcohol is a sugar. It creates havoc in your body, in your liver. Actually, alcohol and broccoli, I think, is the only two things that actually detoxes your liver a little bit. But that doesn't mean it's healthy. So I really recommend staying away from alcohol and sugars in general, because it does create the same havoc in your body, and you want to avoid that to live a healthy life. If you then also eat a lot of processed food, it has glyphosate in it, and so glyphosate also ruins your lining in your gut, meaning it creates havoc as well. So imagine you drink alcohol. Yes. Imagine you drink alcohol, which is a sugar, then you mix it with soda, which is also a sugar, and then a corn syrup, actually. And that's even worse because there's also starch in there. It's just not good for you. And then, you've been hanging out, you've been drunk, and you've been hungover, and now you wake up and you eat this processed food that has glyphosate in it, probably a lot of bread and grains as well, so now you spike your blood sugar even more. Why do you think you have hangovers more than one day? If you're not in your 20s, you probably have hangovers that last a couple of days, and you don't really feel fit the next couple of days after drinking. This is basically why. Because you think you're listening to your body, and it's true that it needs salt. Not enough people are eating enough salt. But it shouldn't be table salt. It should be sea salt. Or Celtic salt would be even better. I think it's like 47 or 87 different good nutrients in that Celtic salt. So, yeah, I eat unhealthy sometimes, and it's definitely an issue for me. I get so frustrated doing it, and because I hurt myself. It's literally hurting myself. It's like banging my head in the wall. Maybe at the time when I'm banging it in the wall, it won't hurt. But I'm pretty sure when I stop banging it in the wall, or against the wall, I will get a headache later. And probably the headache is going to last a little while, right? So this is how I see alcohol. This is how I see sugar. This is how I see grains. This is how I see oats, or anything that is not meat, not fruit. I do think fruit is super important, super healthy to eat, not do, but eat. And so, really important. Yeah, sorry for the navigation here. At the same time, it's very authentic, at least. But yeah, it's important to understand what you eat really creates the foundation for how your health is. So you don't need to go to a doctor to figure out if you're healthy. You can do some blood work. That definitely works. That's definitely a really good choice. But other than that, I mean, it's your food that makes your health. So you stepping up, taking responsibility for your own health, and actually pushing towards trying to be healthier. And every day you try is a one step further. I am so pleased and so proud of myself that I healed my gut doing the things that I do now. Yes, I do get psoriasis now and then. Yes, I do get stomach issues. Yes, I do get headaches once in a while. But it's not at all like it was before. I had ulcers at least a couple of times a month, and it took me around 2 weeks to get rid of them again. We're not talking about like little issues when you brush your teeth, you scrape, and that type of thing. We're talking about ulcers in my throat, around my gums, so bad I couldn't eat. I literally, that's how I taught myself to fast. So that's how bad it was. And now I get them every 3 to 4 months. So what I'm doing is I'm eating a lot of red, organic, grass-fed meat. And it's so important that it's not grain-fed, because we just talked about what grains does to your body. It does the same thing to the cow's body. It creates a saturated amounts of omega-6, and omega-6 is harmful in high quantities, which is in processed foods, in chickens that are fed with grains. It's really not good for you. So if you don't also eat fish, you're now living an unhealthy lifestyle. You'd be like, what? But I'm eating chicken. I'm eating grain-fed cows. Yes, and they have oversaturated omega-3s. Oh, sorry, omega-6. If you don't counter that with omega-3s, actually eating fish or eating omega-3 pills or having some vegetables that have a high amount of omega-3s, now you're creating seed oil havoc in your body. So again, a lot of knowledge I'm loading onto you today, but basically I'm living unhealthy now and then, but now I know how to balance it later. I know if I ever eat something unhealthy, what I do, my life hack is this. I know I can not trust myself today. As an example, today actually is better, but yesterday wasn't. So I couldn't trust myself yesterday. So what I did, I've made the foundation of, okay, I'm gonna eat unhealthy, and I have a hard time stopping myself, and I want to get those cinnamon buns from Netto, the supermarket, and I want to get those phaser mint, and I know it's not good for me, and I know my body will probably create issues today because I ate it yesterday, and I was right. I get more psoriasis, more scratchy scalp, and these things is a general issue. So what I did is I ate some dried dates. That's organic because I don't want the glyphosate ones. So dried organic dates, because dates have a high amount of fiber. So because I'm longing for sugar, because my blood sugar is out of balance, so I made sure to get fats, proteins, and this can be a protein shake with some fat in it, or with oils in it, or extra virgin olive oil, an avocado, or an egg, something like that. And then I'll just eat a couple of dates, and this then makes me allow myself to have some unhealthy things, because I know now I created, the basics for me not having total havoc in my body. So it really helps me, because the dates, the only reason you need fiber is to help your blood sugar not to spike. So when you do have fibers together with sugars, you are now less likely to spike your insulin or your blood sugar too high. So that's why I create the foundation. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt me, or it doesn't create havoc in my body. It doesn't mean that, but it means it creates less havoc. So for me, if I create these principles about when I'm unhealthy, because again, I'm just human, I make mistakes all the time, but now I know how to fix myself or avoid really taking a big toll on what I eat and what I do. So maybe you should go and buy some. What I really like, the dates that I like, it's the one called Medjool, Medjoul, Medjool dates. organic ones, and I eat a couple of those before. And the great thing is, I sometimes don't go to the supermarket and buy what I want, you know, the cinnamon bun and the chocolates. I wait until I've had those dates, and I drink at least 1 glass of water with a pinch of salt in it. Sea salt, important, not table salt. And if I still feel like them, I allow myself to go there. And the reason why I don't buy like 10 of them when I'm there, because the punishment for me is the strain of going down there again, buying one more. So I allow myself, if I do the work to go there, unfortunately I go by car these days because my bicycle is not around. But in Denmark, if you don't know, bicycling is a really huge thing. Everyone does it. It's like everywhere. Except right now on this road, there's not a lot of bicycles. But normally in cities, there's only bicycles. And not only, but there's a lot of them. So it could also be something like that. Making a principle. If I'm going to do something that doesn't serve my highest and best good in my body, but I'm longing for it, I have a hard time concentrating because there's some kind of addiction there, then me jumping on a bicycle to go there. I actually did this once. I wanted to lose weight. I was not eating perfectly healthy at all. So I made one rule for myself. Wherever I go on foot, I have to run, because I now raise my cardio, meaning I burn fat faster, right? So also lifting weights is the better option. But anyways, let's try to stay on topic a little bit. So you actually, if you decided to, whenever you did anything, just create a rule for yourself. This really works if you have ADHD as well, because we like rules, we like conditions, we like deadlines. This motivates us a lot. So for me, it's a superhero power. I decided to run everywhere, and it helped. I lost weight. I was more fit. I was like less tired. I had more energy. And you would think because I burn a lot of energy that I would have less energy. No, it's the opposite. You get more energy by using energy because your body now gets a high on it and from the exercise, and now you get your body used to it. But yes, in the beginning, the first few weeks, you get more tired and you're like, why am I doing this to myself? But it's like with everything, when you do something and your brain doesn't want to do it, your brain actually gets smarter when you do things you don't feel like doing. It's supported by evidence-based studies, so it's not something I just make up as I go. It's literally how it is. So I recommend, doing a rule. I'll tell you another rule I did. I made a rule that when I got home from work, I had to go to the gym. This was every second day. So I had to go to the gym. It was around 5 times a week. And so I already packed my bag, my gym bag. But the thing was, I made a rule for myself because I know I would just go sit on the couch and I wouldn't go. And I would fucking hate myself for not doing it. Or like just get myself down over it and be like, I want this principle to work, and I made a principle that not to eat unhealthy and go to the gym. And now I'm sitting on the couch eating unhealthy and not going to the gym. I just don't feel like it. And when I'm eating unhealthy, I kind of like destroy my own principle. So what I did, I packed my bags every day, every morning, and I put it in front of the door. So I would come in and I just the rule was never more than 1 step inside my house, like 1 leg inside the house. And so when I arrived, I just put 1 leg in, grabbed the bag, and went to the gym. And I told myself that was 50% of the gym session I had to do, is literally go in my home and pick my bag up. If I did that and went to the gym, 50% of it had been done. That's the rule I made for myself. So if I went to the gym and I only felt like running for 10 minutes, fine. That's the full workout. So I allowed myself to have days. Yes. I allowed myself to have days where I didn't strain myself and do all these things, but I just went to the gym, and that's all I had to, 50% done if I just arrived. But sometimes I forgot to pack my bag. So what I did to keep my principle, and this is the important part, is that I jumped around on 1 leg, packing my bag, making sure that my principle was kept, because if I keep my own principles, I will honor them, and I will only show up for myself, and I would promise myself to keep my end of the bargain. So that's some of my tips, guys. I hope you could use some of them. It was at least fun to share. Yes, I'm not healthy, but I have my ways around it. So if you want to learn some of these life hacks and you want to get healthier, you can comment healthier down below. But if you want me to coach yourself and not you can study it for free on my website. But if you want me to coach you, you can write coaching down below and I'll send you a link to book me. And when you book me, we can talk about health, or we can even tune in and see if there is something I can tune in and see if there's some lessons in life that you need to do to create more balance in your life. So that's it for me, guys. Get healthier by following some of these advice, and yeah, I hope you will thrive. I promise you'll be a happier person, especially if you also lift some heavy weights now and then. This is shown to be so beneficial. And by the way, final advice: get some creatine. Just buy some creatine wherever you can get it. It's some of the best things I've done in my life for gym sessions, for energy, for anti-age. Creatine. I'm gonna sell it at some point. If you want the brands that I recommend, I'm gonna send it to you at some point. But you can always send me a message. My AI is probably gonna take over, but you can go to my website and get my contact information, and we'll take it from there. Take care, guys. Stay healthy.